She called me the backup wallet, right there at dinner, in front of everyone, while they all clinked glasses and celebrated her engagement. My sister Emma looked at me across that candlelit table and said, "Come on, Alex, you're just the backup wallet anyway." Then she laughed. That high-pitched giggle that used to make me smile when we were kids now sliced through me like glass. Mom joined in, that nervous titter she does when she knows something's wrong but chooses the easier path. Dad just nodded, sipping his wine. My chest tightened. I watched their faces glow in that warm restaurant light, the flicker of candles dancing against their cruelty. You know that gut twist when you realize you've been replaced by a credit card in your own family's eyes? Yeah, that. I didn't laugh. I sat there, with my fork halfway to my mouth, pasta cooling on the plate, and something inside me cracked. Not broke, cracked, like ice on a lake right before someone falls through. 2 taps on my phone under that table would unravel everything they'd built on my back. But I'm getting ahead of myself. Let me take you back. Way back. Because this didn't start with that dinner. It started when I was 8 and Emma was 6, and she got the bigger bedroom because girls need more space for their things. I got the closet-sized room that smelled like old paint. I remember standing in the hallway watching Dad carry her princess bed frame past me, and when I asked why, he said, "You're the man of the house someday, buddy. You'll understand sacrifice." I nodded, because I loved them. Because I thought, that's what good sons did. Fast forward to high school. Emma wanted cheerleading uniforms, competition fees, that spring break trip to Miami with her squad. I was working doubles at the grocery store, stocking shelves at 16 while she posted Instagram stories from the beach. My college fund? Redistributed, Mom called it. Emma needs this for her confidence. I got community college and a 3rd job. Emma got state university and a car. I told myself it was temporary. That once I graduated, got my engineering degree, things would balance out. They didn't. By 25, I was pulling $70,000 a year. Good money, stable job. I'd scraped my way up, paid off my own loans, bought a modest condo. Emma? She'd bounced between retail jobs and finding herself in Bali on someone else's dime. Usually mine. There was the time she needed $1,500 for emergency dental work that turned into veneers. The $3,000 for a business investment that became a closet full of unsold leggings. The $5,000 for rent when she got evicted from her 3rd apartment. I gave it all. Every time. Because family is family, right? Because maybe this time, she'd get her life together. Then came Derek, her fiancé. Crypto bro type, all talk about Bitcoin and disrupting industries while working part-time at his dad's car dealership. They got engaged after 6 months, and suddenly, it was all wedding talk. Venues that cost more than my condo. Destination bachelor parties. A dress that needed the perfect alterations at $2,000 a pop. I smiled through every conversation, every hint, every, "Alex, you'll help us out, right? You're so good with money." I should have seen it coming. The signs were neon bright. But you don't want to believe your family would actually steal from you. You tell yourself stories. Maybe they're just thoughtless. Maybe they don't realize. Maybe I'm being too sensitive. That illusion shattered 3 months before the wedding dinner. I logged into my savings account on a Tuesday morning, coffee in hand, just a routine check before work. The balance made my stomach drop. $12,000. Gone. Just gone. My emergency fund, the money I'd been saving for a down payment on a house, the cushion that let me sleep at night, vanished. My hands started shaking so hard I spilled coffee on my keyboard. I refreshed the page 4 times, convinced it was a glitch. It wasn't. The transaction history told the story. 6 withdrawals over 2 months, each $2,000, all labeled "Transfer to Emma Johnson." My sister, my blood. I hadn't authorized a single one. My vision blurred. I called the bank, my voice cracking on the phone. "There's been fraud," I said. The representative, bless her, stayed calm while I spiraled. "We'll investigate, sir. Do you know anyone with access to your account information?" I did. Emma had borrowed my laptop 2 months earlier, when hers crashed, said she needed to apply for jobs. I'd left her alone in my apartment for 3 hours. She'd saved my passwords. Chrome, autofill. I'd been so stupid, so trusting. The bank confirmed it that afternoon. The IP address matched my home network, accessed during the exact window she'd been there. My sister had hacked my account, stolen $12,000, and I'd smiled and waved her off that day, told her to take her time, made her lunch. I didn't confront her immediately. I know. You're thinking I should have marched over there and demanded answers, but I was numb, paralyzed. Part of me still wanted to believe there was an explanation, some bizarre misunderstanding. So I waited, watched, started paying attention to her Instagram stories with new eyes. That's when the twists started piling up like a car crash in slow motion. 2 weeks after I discovered the theft, Emma posted a photo of her and Derek at some upscale restaurant. She was wearing a new necklace, diamonds catching the light. The caption read, "Treating ourselves before the big day, my $12,000 glittering around her neck." I zoomed in on the photo until the pixels blurred, and something else caught my eye. In the background, reflected in the window behind them, another woman, blonde, laughing, leaning close to Derek. Too close. I recognized her. Ashley, Emma's maid of honor, her best friend since college. I took a screenshot. Then I did what any good engineer does when they need data. I investigated. Called in a favor from a buddy who works in digital forensics. "Can you pull metadata from Instagram photos?" He could. The photo was geotagged to a hotel, not a restaurant. The Grandview Hotel downtown, room 712, posted at 9 p.m. on a Thursday. The same Thursday Emma had told our parents she and Derek were at wedding planning meetings. I felt something shift in my chest. Not heartbreak anymore. Calculation. I started documenting everything. Screenshots of her posts, bank statements, text messages. I created a folder on my desktop labeled Evidence and watched it grow like a tumor. Then I got access to something I shouldn't have. Remember that laptop she'd borrowed? I'd installed remote access software after she returned it, just paranoid enough to want to monitor if she tried anything again. She had. She'd kept my banking info, my passwords, everything in a document titled Emergency Fund. My emergency fund. Her entitlement was right there in Times New Roman, 12-point font. But the real bomb was in her messages. I know it's invasive, probably illegal, definitely immoral to read someone's private texts. But she'd invaded my finances, so I felt cosmically justified. I found messages between her and Derek. "Baby, I got another $2K from Alex's account," one read. "He's such a sucker." Derek's response, "That's my girl. We're gonna have the wedding of the century on his dime." Then messages with Ashley. "Derek's so stressed with the wedding. I told him I'd give him space. Help him relax." Winking emoji, heart emoji. Photos I won't describe here, but will live rent-free in my nightmares. Emma knew. She knew Derek was cheating with her maid of honor, and she didn't care, because the wedding, my funded wedding, mattered more than dignity, more than love, more than me. My hands trembled on the mouse as I read message after message. 5 months of evidence. 5 months of them laughing at me, calling me spineless, debating how much more they could squeeze out before I noticed. One text from Emma to Mom made my blood boil. "Alex won't say anything. He never does. He'll just swallow it and smile, like always." She was right. Old Alex would have. Old Alex had swallowed every slight, every redistribution, every borrowed dollar that never came back. But something in me had crystallized into something cold and sharp while reading those messages. I wasn't broken. I was done. The dinner happened 2 weeks later. Emma had invited everyone to celebrate the final countdown to the wedding. Mom, Dad, Derek's parents, Ashley, a few cousins. They'd reserved a private room at Giuseppe's, an Italian place with wine bottles lining the walls and that fake rustic charm that costs a fortune. I arrived last, wearing my best poker face and carrying my phone like a loaded weapon. Emma hugged me at the door. "Thanks for coming, backup wallet," she whispered in my ear, giggling. She thought it was an inside joke. I let her. Dinner was excruciating. They toasted Emma and Derek. Dad gave a speech about young love conquering all. Derek's dad bragged about the honeymoon yacht he'd contributed to. I sipped water and checked my phone, scrolling through my evidence folder one more time. 12,000 in theft, proof of an affair, messages mocking me. I had enough to detonate a nuclear bomb. I just needed the right moment. It came during dessert. Emma stood up, champagne flute in hand, slightly tipsy and feeling bold. "I want to thank everyone here," she said, voice syrupy sweet. "Especially my big brother Alex. You know, he's been so generous, so giving, always there when we need him." She turned to me, that smile sharp as knives. "Honestly, Alex, I don't know what we'd do without you. You're like our backup plan, our safety net, our backup wallet." The table laughed. Mom and Dad chuckled nervously. Derek smirked. Ashley giggled into her napkin. I stared at Emma, my sister, the girl I'd shared a childhood with, and felt absolutely nothing. No love, no anger, just cold, crystalline clarity. I stood up slowly. The laughter died. Everyone looked at me, expecting some self-deprecating joke, some good-natured deflection. Instead, I pulled out my phone. "That's funny, Emma," I said quietly. My voice sounded strange, distant. "Because I've been meaning to talk to you about my wallet. Specifically, the $12,000 you stole from it." Silence. Complete, suffocating silence. Emma's face froze mid-smile. "What are you talking about?" Her voice cracked, just a little. I unlocked my phone, pulled up my banking app, and turned it toward the table. These 6 transactions, all unauthorized, all traced back to my home IP address on dates you were in my apartment. The bank's already investigating it as fraud. That's a felony, by the way. Identity theft. Wire fraud. Pick your charge. Dad started to interrupt. "Alex, surely there's been a misunderstanding." "No misunderstanding, Dad." I swiped to the next screenshot. Here's a document from Emma's computer, titled Emergency Fund, listing all my passwords, my bank account numbers, and a running tally of how much she's taken. $12,000. That's what funded your dress, Emma. Your alterations. That necklace you're wearing right now. Emma's hand flew to her throat. Derek's face had gone white. I wasn't done. But wait, there's more. I swiped again, pulling up the Instagram photo. This picture from the Grandview Hotel. You said you were at wedding planning that night, Emma. Room 712. Want to know what else happened in room 712? I turned the phone toward Derek's parents. Your son and Ashley here have been hooking up for 5 months. Emma knows. She's known the whole time. Because a wedding funded by stolen money matters more than self-respect, I guess. Ashley gasped. Derek lunged forward. You son of a... Sit down, Derek. My voice was ice. He sat. I've got messages between Emma and Ashley discussing it. Between Emma and Derek joking about me being a sucker. Between Emma and Mom, yeah, Mom. She told you too, discussing how much more she could take before I noticed. I looked at Mom. Her face crumpled. You knew, didn't you? Mom opened her mouth, closed it, opened it again. Alex, sweetie, I thought. Emma said you'd offered. I offered nothing. She stole, and you all benefited. I looked around the table. These people, my family, looked like strangers, small, pathetic. Here's what's going to happen. Emma, I've filed a police report. Fraud charges are pending. The bank's freezing any accounts connected to those funds, so whatever you haven't spent yet, gone. The wedding vendors who were paid with my money, I'm contacting them directly. They'll be expecting new payment arrangements from you by Monday, or they're canceling. Emma started crying, big, heaving sobs. Alex, please, you can't. I can. I did. Congratulations. You deserve each other. Then to his parents. You might want to ask your son about the hotel charges on his credit card, unless the yacht covers infidelity deposits. I pulled out a folder from my bag. Physical copies. I'd printed everything, bank statements, screenshots, message transcripts, all 147 pages of betrayal. I dropped it on the table. It landed with a thud that echoed. That's for you to fight over. Every text, every transaction, every lie. Evidence for the lawyers. Because yes, Emma, I'm suing you in civil court too. 12,000 plus emotional damages. I'm thinking 50 grand? 60? We'll see what a judge says about family theft. Dad stood up, his face red. Alex, you're destroying this family. I'm destroying it? I laughed, and it sounded hollow. Dad, you gave my college fund to Emma. Mom, you guilt-tripped me into paying for a wedding built on fraud. Emma, you literally hacked my bank account and called me a sucker behind my back. I didn't destroy anything. I just stopped being the foundation you could stand on while kicking me in the teeth. I grabbed my jacket. One more thing. I'm done. With all of you. Emma, lose my number. Mom, Dad, don't call, don't text. Don't show up at my door with apologies or explanations. You made your choice every time you picked her comfort over my dignity. Now I'm picking me. Emma grabbed my arm as I turned to leave. Alex, please, we're family. I pulled away gently, not roughly, just firmly. No, Emma, we're related. There's a difference. I looked at her, really looked at her, and felt nothing but pity. You could have just asked. If you'd come to me, told me you were struggling, needed help, I probably would have given you something. But you stole. You mocked me. You made me a joke. That's not what family does. I walked out of Giuseppe's, into the cool night air, and for the first time in months, I could breathe. My phone started buzzing immediately. Texts flooded in. Alex, please, let's talk. Dad, you're being unreasonable. Emma, I'll pay you back. I swear, please don't do this. Derek, you're a vindictive. I blocked them, all of them, one by one, watching their names disappear from my contacts like ghosts evaporating. The fallout was spectacular. Emma tried to keep the wedding going, but without my stolen 12,000, the budget collapsed. The venue canceled when she couldn't make the deposit. The photographer, the caterer, the florist, all canceled within a week. She tried to reschedule, downsize, pivot to a simple backyard ceremony. Derek's parents refused to contribute more after learning about the affair. Her friends started backing out. Ashley, predictably, ghosted entirely after I sent her parents a courtesy copy of those hotel messages. Just being thorough. The police investigation moved slowly, but it moved. Emma hired a lawyer, tried to claim I'd given her permission, but my bank security footage and IP logs didn't lie. 3 months later, she pleaded guilty to a reduced charge of unauthorized account access in exchange for probation and restitution, $12,000 plus legal fees, to be paid over 5 years. The court ordered it. She'd have to get a real job now. The irony wasn't lost on me. Derek and Emma broke up 2 weeks after the dinner explosion. Turns out, stolen money and public humiliation aren't great relationship foundations. Last I heard, through mutual acquaintances, people who respected what I'd done, he'd moved to another state. Emma moved back in with our parents, who suddenly weren't so eager to fund her lifestyle when it came out of their pockets. Mom called me once from a number I didn't recognize. I answered, mistake. Alex, please, she's your sister. She's struggling. Can't you forgive? I hung up, blocked that number too. I got a letter from Dad 3 months later, handwritten, full of phrases like, family forgives, and you're being cruel. I didn't read past the first paragraph. It went in the shredder. Satisfying? and final. But here's the twist I didn't see coming. Grandma Dad's mom, the one who'd always been quiet at family gatherings, called me 6 months after everything imploded. "Alex," she said, voice shaky but clear, "I need to tell you something I should have said years ago." She'd been watching, she explained. Watching Emma get everything. Watching me get used. Watching our parents enable it all. Your grandfather left you money. In a trust. $30,000 for when you turned 25. Your father told you it didn't exist. He gave it to Emma for her business ventures. I sat down hard on my couch, phone pressed to my ear, as Grandma cried. I didn't know until after he passed, and by then I was too afraid to cause problems. But after what you did, standing up for yourself, I'm done being afraid. I'm telling you now, there's a lawyer, my lawyer. I'm giving you the documents. Sue him if you want. I'll testify. I didn't sue, Dad. I didn't need to. The knowledge was enough. The final confirmation that I hadn't been crazy, hadn't been oversensitive, hadn't imagined the imbalance. Grandma and I meet for coffee once a month now. She's the only family I kept, the only one who earned it. A year later, I'm sitting in my condo, the one I could finally afford, after cutting out the financial black hole that was my family. I bought new furniture, adopted a dog, started therapy, which helps more than I expected. My savings account is rebuilding, steadily, and every time I check the balance, I smile. It's mine, all mine. No one has my passwords. No one has access. No one can take what I've earned. I got a voicemail from Emma last week. "Alex, it's me. I know you won't answer. I'm sorry. I'm getting help. Therapy. I realize what I did was wrong. I miss you. I miss my brother. If you ever want to talk." I deleted it halfway through, not out of anger, out of indifference. She'd become a stranger, a cautionary tale I'd tell someday about boundaries and self-worth. Someone asked me recently if I regret it. Blowing up the wedding, pressing charges, cutting them all off. I don't. Not even a little. You know what I regret? The years I spent believing their narrative that I was the strong one, the reliable one, the one who should sacrifice because I could handle it. I was handling it, sure, by breaking myself into pieces and handing them out. I'm not the backup wallet. I'm not the safety net. I'm not the foundation for someone else's dream life built on my nightmares. I'm just Alex, a guy who learned that family isn't about blood or obligation. It's about respect, reciprocity, and love that doesn't come with a price tag attached to your bank account. They called me cold, cruel, unforgiving. Maybe I am. Or maybe I'm just warm now, finally, after years of letting them drain every ounce of heat for themselves. My coffee tastes better these days. My sleep is deeper. My silence, for the first time in my life, feels like freedom instead of surrender. And if they ever come crawling back, fully changed, genuinely remorseful, I'll consider it, for about 5 seconds. Then I'll remember that giggle across the candlelit table, the word backup wallet, and I'll know some bridges burn because they were built on rot. Better to walk away and build something new, on solid ground, alone, unburdened, and finally free.